What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the supposed debut project by Hotstylz. Basically, this project is called ADD, the mixtape, and it came out in the summer of 2009. Now, the thing about this particular review is just the fact that it's going to be a partial review, just because the actual download links for this particular mixtape are vanished and they've been gone. I don't know for how long. I mean, apparently Hotstylz put like a link to this particular download of the mixtape back in December 2022. So maybe partially something happened within like the last year and a half, but it was definitely around probably 2009, 2010. But basically, this is a 19-song mixtape, and I was able to do like a partial review. There are some songs circulating on YouTube and stuff like that, but I was only able to find 11 out of those 19. So there's still 8 songs missing, which is unfortunate because this is a pretty quality mixtape here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to get a 10 out of 10. It's just that quality in terms of the pitch of these songs that I heard. It's definitely something I feel like a lot of these mixtape type songs could have been charting singles back in the day. This is a lot of good ringtone rap circa 2009. It's just some pretty good pitches. It's interesting that Hotstylz was able to pull off quality like this just because they only really had one charting single, which was just Looking Boy with Young Jock, I'd have to say. But I just look after like the gloss and appeal of this particular project. This has a lot of finesse on here. It's just surprising. I get the feeling that more than likely I would probably give this ADD the mixtape in the whole format probably like a 10 out of 10, because that's the score that's going to get these 11 songs. Basically, out of the 11 songs that I found off this particular mixtape, I wound up recommending to you 10. So this is kind of the concept. We'll get to some of these songs I recommend. But basically, the only real song I didn't recommend out of the 11 songs that I were able to find was this Play Your Position with Bobby V, which is a pretty good pitch because Bobby V was pretty popular back in 2009. But that's a lady song, was just a little bit too dainty, I'd have to suppose, in particular. That one was just really making it really apparent that it's a lady song just within that relative pitch. It's kind of a lot. I mean, it's kind of a buttery type one, but it's just a little bit more. It just is really kind of dainty and just flimsy as far as that pitch kind of happens, just for the ladies, as far as that kind of goes. I feel like the song Faucet just hits a little bit better in terms of that relative pitch. So it's just kind of concept. Those are at least some ladies songs. Bobby V has a decent hook on that particular song, so it's just kind of concept. But one particular artist off this, if you didn't know, one particular artist that found Hotstylz as far as that pitch kind of happened was Young Jock. He made them a part of his Swag Team, and like Swag Team was like a label back in late 2009. Swag Team was like a label back in 2009 and 2010. Young Jock was trying to make a label after he got dropped from Bad Boy and stuff like that. As far as that pitch kind of happened, he actually had a few projects. This was one of them. Young Jock also dropped Grind Flu in August 2009, so those are 2 projects that came out around that particular time. And then there was a Swag Team mixtape that came out in early 2010. So that's the basic concept about it. Young Jock is pretty much on fire on this particular project. These guys are some fiery stuff, I would have to say. This is really compelling. It really is like a sin that this project is not fully available. I would definitely say to folks, if you have this particular mixtape, I would figure out a format to getting it available. Even if you have to sell it and make some bucks, I would definitely say that would be a good concept, just to kind of get that format, get this back circulated, because this is definitely a classic mixtape. I definitely feel like the fire of this particular project just has its glitzy kind of appeal. We'll go ahead and talk about the songs I recommend on here. Like I was saying, I was only able to find 11 songs out of 19, so the one song out of those 11 that I didn't recommend was Play Your Position with Bobby V, but the other 10 songs, I'll go ahead and recommend these. So these 10 songs would be Bait, Auntie Booty, Go Loony, Heartbeat, She a Freak, Faucet, Mrs. Pac-Man, Thick and Fi, Roly Poly is the Almost song, and Hell Nah. So basically, I guess that's kind of the pitch. I really recommend 9.5 songs out of 11 on here, but still going to get a 10 because this is still going to get a 10 out of 10 because this is some quality stuff here. But to talk about Roly Poly, this is a nice one. This says Young Jock featured on here. This is like a poppy kind of ringtone ready dance club cut, I would have to say in particular. This is a pretty affable and good entry turn up of a song, I'd have to say. The beat on this song is kind of mid. It kind of feels like, I mean, it's not necessarily like a boom bap type beat, but it is kind of a minimalist type production in the verses, and then it kind of has like the steel drums that are on like Crank That Soldier Boy as far as that pitch kind of happens in like the chorus. It's a pretty good pitch. Young Jock really tears apart this verse on here. So do the Hotstylz members. They have a pretty good pitch with this particular song. It's definitely pretty dance ready. It's like a vanilla dance cut just for some turn up. This probably could have been a single, something like that, but it's just kind of the concept. I just felt like the production is a little bit mid. I mean, when you're in the heat of the moment and stuff like that, this dance club pitch is pretty riveting, and I'd say it's definitely a pretty good hopper to get some twerking going and some stuff like that. But it's just kind of the concept that I feel like the production type here is just not quite as organized and quite as litty as it needs to be. But it is a gem for like the concept of this when you're in the club and just things like that, and this is the craziness going. But there are some nice ones on here. I feel like a real nice one is Auntie Booty. This is really This is an extremely hot one. I'd have to say this is like a syrupy and kind of exotic night venue boiler. I'd have to say in particular, this is tons of fun. This song is definitely some tons of fun social jazz. I'd have to say in particular, and this is just an easy kind of dance club hit. I would definitely say, and it's a pretty good bop. So it's a pretty good concept about this one. Definitely like the concept of this particular song, talking about a chick with an auntie booty. Pretty good concept to get that in particular. It's a real highlight type one. Production is really electric on this particular song. Just a typical kind of night, just some typical kind of night outing type fare. Just some real jazzy type stuff that works pretty damn well. Just an easy kind of ringtone rap type hit. Just an easy kind of late 2000s ringtone rap type hit, I'd have to say in particular. Just some good stuff here. I mean, it's just real Apple, ready to go, stuff like that. Just real catchy and hypnotic, I'd have to say. So that's a nice one. Another pretty similar one to that is Go Loony. I would definitely have to say this is like a good nightclub kind of ferocity in particular. I'd have to say about this one. So I'd have to say about that one in particular. It's like a nice taste of ringtone rap, I would definitely have to say. And this is just like, this song is a nice taste of ringtone rap nightlife, I would have to say in particular. And this is just like a typical kind of good evening jive, I'd have to say about this particular one. So most of the 10 songs I recommend on this particular project are pretty nightclub ready and just dance club ready as far as that pitch kind of happens. This is just late 2000s ringtone rap, and a lot of these are just pounding, hypnotic stuff like that. They just work great for just like some dance crazes and stuff like that. Just drinking like Hennessy and hypnotic at the club, some of those type pitches, Jim Beam, some of those type snaps, just seeing women twerk like crazy, some of those type pitches are just like the dance type pizzazz and just dancing on the dance floor, stuff like that. A lot of these just really hit heavily. Another nice one on here is Bait. This is definitely like a pounding kind of hypnotic nightclub hopper, I'd have to say in particular. It's definitely like a good late 2000s ringtone rap type gem, I'd have to say in particular. And this is just some great stuff for like some mixtape type fare, I'd have to say. So it's just interesting concept that it's just a pretty great concept that there's so many hits on this particular project for mixtape type fare. So definitely considering that this project was free and can kind of somewhat be free if you look around for it. It's just kind of the concept that these are some great gems on here to kind of have for some outings and just stuff like that. It's great concepts just for like, I mean, I definitely feel like the social score is going to get a 10 to just because of all the pizzazz on this particular project. But to switch up the tempo a bit, a particular song that's great for the ladies on here is Faucet. This is like a sugary kind of late day ladies kickback malaise of a song, I'd have to say in particular. It's definitely like a smoke one with Bay type tune, I would have to say in particular. It just really has that haze of just really has that haze and malaise of that particular aspect, I'd have to say. And it's like a sunny kind of summery good vibes blazer of a song, I'd have to suppose. So it's just really great for like 4:30, 5:30 p.m. type stuff. Just the after hours type pitch that just got done with work, going to go kick it with bass and pitches like that, just within the concept of just like a laze kind of a laze kind of residential kickback in like the summer skies as far as that pitch can happen. Just a real nice one for that relative pitch. Just a real sugary type one. Just has a good aspect behind it. Not really kind of, I mean, it's a pretty good mixtape down tempo type song, I'd have to say in particular. This is like some more hip hop and more R&B type stuff. This is more hip hop and R&B type stuff, but it works pretty well within that pitch to kind of have so many singles and just overall gems packed into like a mixtape. This way that this sort of came off, and Young Jock does a pretty good job with this stuff on here as well. Hotstylz does also, so it's a good concept. Sheia Freak's another pretty good highlighted one, pretty similar to Auntie Booty, I had to say in particular. Definitely a Liddy type beat and stuff like that. I had to say it's like a Liddy kind of nightclub smash, I would have to say. It reminds me of Lil Jon's Crunk stuff, I would have to say in particular. Definitely a good ringtone rap. Definitely a good ringtone rap type gem, I'd have to say. And this is just a great late 2000s swag rap. And this is just a great late 2000s swag rap hopper, I'd have to say in particular. So this is another good highlight, just another stock vanilla type hit off this particular mixtape that just pounds and just has a lot of good severe kind of quality about it, I'd have to say in particular. All of these are just pretty pounding, just eviscerative, I just would have to say. It's real visceral stuff, I'd have to say. Heartbeat's another highlight type one. This really works pretty well. It's like a snazzy kind of club hopper, I'd have to say. It's like a great dance craze gem, I would have to say in particular. And this could be a single, I would definitely have to say. Quality nightlife times. Yeah, Heartbeat is just another snazzy type one to get in particular. Just another pounding type one to kind of have just for some vanilla type hits and stuff like that. I mean, it's not vanilla in terms of quality, but just vanilla in terms of just like one after the other in terms of like the hits that you get just on this particular project. Definitely so many gems off this particular project, just off a sampler of it from what you see as far as that pitch can go. So I definitely have to recommend it continuously. Hell Nah is another quality type one. This is like a comedy rap nightclub cut, I'd have to say in particular. This is like a gimmick song that has glitzy pizzazz about it, I'd have to say in particular. And this song has original concepts and it's a pretty solid jam, I'd have to say. So it's a pretty good concept for that one in particular. Just a real nice comedy rap type one. Just a gimmick type song that works pretty well. Just has the relative pitch. It just kind of having some of that. This is typical kind of stuff for like mixtape type fare as far as that pitch kind of goes. There are some times when I don't appreciate gimmick songs as much, but this is definitely a concept of one that just has that particular flash and just that snazzy appeal that just works pretty well, I'd have to say. So it's a good pitch of that. Mrs. Pac-Man's probably one of the best songs off this particular tape, I'd have to say, at least from the songs I heard. I definitely have to suppose it's like a snazzy kind of fierce nightclub gem, I'd have to say. This is just like a sluggish kind of get crunk and burnt kind of fun, I'd have to say in particular. And this is just an easy dance club hit, I would have to say, and this song overall boils. So It's a real nice particular type one that just is a great hopper just for stuff like that. Just kind of talking about some chicas really popping pills in the club and just getting crunk and crazy as far as that particular pitch kind of goes. Now, obviously, I would just recommend liquor and stuff like that and smokage and stuff like that, but it's still a pretty good pitch for some ladies turn up as far as that particular kind of goes. Easy kind of twerk song for the ladies and this overall dance club hopper that just is a great dance club type. Just an easy kind of dance club highlight that just has a lot of appeal about it. So it's just a good highlight type one. It's just pretty interesting how many burners that Hotstylz had on this particular project. I would definitely have to say just tons of these. That's what I'd say. Like I said, all 10, basically 10, damn near 10 out of 11 songs off this particular project that I found are just recommendable. So once again, I just have to say that just the concept that you definitely, this is a rare item. I would definitely have to say there's definitely some quality music here. I'd have to suppose in particular. But Thick and Fi is a pretty nice one. This says Twist on the feature. This is a pretty highlighted type one. It's like a jivey kind of dance club gem for the ladies. I'd have to say in particular. It's just like a jazzy and hot kind of turn up. I would definitely have to say for that relative pitch. And this is just like a quick pace and kind of feisty fun of a song, I'd say. So it's definitely a pretty fierce one. The lyricism on the song is talking about tasty food and stuff like that, just mixed with ladies fair as far as that particular pitch kind of happens. Twisted does a great job on this particular song. He keeps up, and Hotstylz keep up with Twisted as far as that particular kind of goes. Just a good affable type one to kind of get on here. Just some real good mixtape ferocity, I'd have to say. Just some interesting concepts and good pitches to kind of have just with the quality of it, I'd have to suppose. That's the basic concept. Basically, me recommending 9.5 songs out of 11 that I found off this particular mixtape. I'm going to go ahead and give this mixtape like a 10 out of 10 just based upon what I saw, the partial review of it as far as that pitch kind of goes on. I have to say the social score is going to get a 10 out of 10 also. Definitely just some visceral kind of dance club ready and ringtone ready just type stuff that just has a lot of heaviness and just overall pounding typeness that just has pretty sheer stuff, and it's just a good shred, and it's just some great shredding. I'd have to say this really just, this album is just full of great snarl and quality, I'd have to say in particular. So some great stuff. So I would basically have to say, I would have to say if you do have this mixtape out there in like its full form, I would definitely have to suppose that it just, you're holding on to some great quality, I'd have to say in particular, because just from what I was able to tell off this particular project, it's just pretty much like damn near a classic, I'd have to say. It's just weird that Hotstylz has had this much quality when they were basically seen as one-hit wonders as far as that pitch kind of went along with this. So it is pretty much like a sin that this is not that this is not more readily available, I'd have to say. But the concept of it, there are some songs that I wanted to get to off this particular project. Like I remember there was a song that I didn't get to called. There were two songs I remember I didn't get to. One was Go Dutch, which I wonder how that one would have went, and there's another one called Cheap Liquor, which I wonder about that one. So there's 8 other ones I don't know about, but I listed at least 2 of them. So there's still 6 other songs I could list it, but I just understand that there's 8 other songs off this particular project that pretty much I could almost guarantee have the same quality as some of those. I definitely feel like it just would really be some snazziness, I'd have to say. So in terms of the future, like unfortunately Hotstylz has kind of dried up by this particular point. They were huge back in 2008, 2009, 2010 when Young Jock was a part of Swag Team and some of those type things and some of those type pitches. They did have an initial pretty good kickoff. They did at least drop a couple mixtapes throughout the 2010s. Apparently they dropped one in 2016, stuff like that. They had one in 2011 called Where Y'all Been At. I was looking for that one too, but I couldn't find it. They do have like another mixtape called Gas that came out in 2012, so I am eventually going to get to that one as well. I just would have to say if I ever do happen upon this full particular project, I probably would do another review off of it, just in particular, I'd have to say. But this, from what I've seen, the partial review that I gathered from it, this is like a 10 out of 10 project, and I'm pretty much guessing that the full project is probably a 10 out of 10 as well. So that's the console. I would definitely look into finding this and getting it on YouTube and stuff like that for folks to have more downloads and get it back in the social vibes as far as that pitch kind of goes.